Hi, I'm guessing if you're here, it's because you struggle with yo yo dieting, emotional eating, you go on a diet, you lose the weight, and ultimately you find yourself gaining the weight back again. If that's why you're here, I get it, because that used to be me too. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to become a nutritionist and a weight loss coach, because I know how hard it is to keep losing weight only to gain it back again, the frustration, and worse, not really understanding why you can't lose the weight and keep the weight off. It wasn't until I actually started to change my habits and behaviors, and I realized after the fact that I actually changed my thinking to change my habits and behaviors, that I was able to lose weight and not gain the weight back again. And I've kept the weight off for over 30 years. So that's why in my work, I teach my method, what I call the Mindshift Method. And this is what I teach my clients. We talk about nutrition. I give them a roadmap to eating healthy in the life that they live, because this is a super important part, right? The food that goes into your mouth is really what's going to produce your results. But the way you think about what goes into your mouth is really what's going to produce those results. And let me share with you exactly what I mean by that. So, what happens when we want to lose weight? We only focus on changing the food. Eat this, not that. And what that really looks like for most people is cutting out carbs and sugar and wine and all of the things we love. And so when you cut out all of the things you love, what happens? The minute you put one of those things in your mouth, you end up binging or over consuming. And then what happens? You go into the cycle. The cycle of what's the use? What's the point? I blew it. I may as well keep eating. And then what do? You go in another binge. You eat all the food. You gain the weight back. And the cycle repeats itself. And that's what makes losing weight and keeping it off so hard. So when I teach the Mindshift Method, there's certain principles that I drive home with my clients, because the goal is to not just lose the weight. The goal is to keep the weight off once it's gone, which is what most people do not know how to do. So let me share with you a little bit about what the Mindshift Method really entails. And I teach the Mindshift Method in my private coaching and in my group program, What Are You Really Hungry For? First, we start with the first step, which is learning how to nourish your body. You have to learn how to eat in the life that you live, because everybody's life is different, right? So you might wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, or you might wake up at 10 o'clock in the morning. How you eat affects your day, right? The time you wake up, the time you have your first meal, if you're just preparing food for yourself, if you have a whole family to worry about, what is your life like that's different from somebody else's? So when you follow a diet plan and you try to squeeze yourself into a box of this particular thing, it might not work in your life. So learning to eat in the life that you live is what I teach my clients to do. What to do is in the first place. Then I teach them to become aware of what are the habits and behaviors that get you to be overweight in the first place. What happens for you? What do you do? Are you somebody that eats all day, right? You're a big grazer? Are you somebody that after dinner you always have to have a snack? Do you eat in your car, right? Do you sneak eat? What are the habits and behaviors that you have that are causing you to either gain the weight in the first place, prevent you from losing weight, and or cause you to gain the weight back once you've lost it, right? Creating that awareness is super important, because you can't change what you don't recognize. And then step 3 is I teach them how to monitor their messaging, because there's a voice in your head, and that voice is your own thoughts. Your thoughts drive your actions and behaviors, right? Because your actions will always follow your thoughts. If you think about it, if you tell yourself, I'm not going to eat those cookies, right? I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do that. You're probably not going to do that. But if you tell yourself, I'm going to eat 3 cookies and I'll be better tomorrow, or I'm just going to eat that and I'll worry about it later, or I'm just going to take a handful, what difference does it make? Do those words sound familiar? The thoughts in your head drive your actions. And I always tell my clients that they have a way of thinking, which I call the dieter's mentality, which every person who's ever struggled with their weight has. So I teach you how to listen to your internal messaging. I teach you how to change the message, right? Because your thoughts drive your actions and your behaviors and your habits. And the reason why habits is so hard to change is a habit is something we do without thinking, right? So you're an automatic pilot. And if you think about it, your brain is involved in the whole process. So picture this. Right now, your old habit and behavior around food and eating has a pathway in your brain. It is a smooth road. Your car goes right down that road every single time easily. But now, when you want to change that habit, there's a different road that you have to take, one that you're not familiar with. And it might be unconstructed, it might be bumpy, it's definitely not a smooth path. So for you to go down that road, it's going to feel hard and it's going to take effort. I know you can create the same smooth road that you did for the old habit for the new habit, but that's where the work comes in. So that's what I teach my clients, and I help hold them accountable, and I give them the support that they need while they're paving that new road. And then part of the method is to also get aware of what are your triggers. What triggers you to want to eat, right? What presses that button? What emotion presses that button? What person presses that button? What time of day might press that button for you? Do you even know? Are you aware? Or does it just happen automatically because it's been happening to you for so long? That's part of the Mindshift method. Teaching you how to shift that, become aware of that, and change it for good. And then the most important part of the method that I teach my clients is to practice. Because anything we want to get good at, we need to practice, right? You're not just going to sit down at a piano if you don't know how to play and start to play the piano because you don't know the chords, you don't know the notes, you don't know how to read the music, you don't know the keys. You have to learn all that before you could play by ear. And that's what the Mindshift method teaches you, how to eat by ear in a new way. So your old way becomes obsolete, so to speak, and we've paved a road for your new habits and behaviors and your new way of thinking. And that is what allows you to keep the weight off once it's gone. So you learn all of this through the process on your journey as you go through what are you really hungry for, or if we were to work together privately. So I hope that's helpful in helping you understand the method, the Mindshift method, in which I teach all of my clients. So they could just not lose weight. They think in a different way so they could keep the weight off once it's gone, because that's what people don't know how to do. If you have any questions, shoot me an email at lisa@lisagoldbergnutrition.com or schedule a call with me at speakwithlisa.com and let's talk, right? It's a complimentary call so I could find out more about you, could find out more about the Mindshift method and see if it's right for you. All right? I look forward to connecting to you, and I'll speak to you soon.